All right, hey, what's up, everyone? Dave here, along with my buddy Robotech Guy.
Yeah. What's up, Dave? Glad to be back, man. This is it's been I've been looking forward to this for a while, so we finally get to do another one.
All right, yeah, we're on episode 3 of our Robotech 40th anniversary celebration, and today we're going to be talking about part 2 of the Robotech saga, which is the Masters saga. Yeah,
Gotta love
yeah.
the Masters, right?
It's the Masters.
Yeah, you got I remember as a kid, I it was Robotech, so I was like, all right, yeah, there's Zora, there's Dana, boring. When there was action, there was action. But the one thing as a kid I remember about the Masters saga is that there was a lot of dialogue, and there was episodes where
Yes.
there wasn't any action, there wasn't
Yes.
any blowing up, robots blowing each other up or anything like that. So as the years have gone by, now that I'm much older, I can appreciate it for what it is more now. The storytelling, the characters, everything. So I've actually I appreciate it. Still my third, still number three on the list of the three, but I like it a lot more. How about
All
you?
right. Well, as I'm thinking about the Masters here, you'll have to excuse me. I gotta have my adult beverage to be talking about this.
Ah, adult beverages. All right.
I need an adult beverage to talk about the Masters saga.
I got you. Well, I got this. This is my the protoculture advanced formula here, and in my amazing Lin Min Mei shaker cup. So this is my keep me focused, right? When I'm watching the Masters, I kind of drift. So now this keeps me focused.
Yes, yes. Well, for me, it's number 3 on the list for
Yeah.
sure as
Hmm.
well. I rewatched it recently, and I don't know. I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but I didn't like it. And I feel like you said, there is a lot of dialogue, and I feel like even the narrator is just like trying to tell this story through. Like he's doing a lot of talking. I feel like through a lot of the episodes. But like you
Well,
said, I mean, the action's pretty good. But there is a lot of slowdown in it.
yeah, when there's action there, I mean, it's like, oh, this is great, right? And the one thing I learned not too long ago was the whole editing process, and rewatching the actual Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross. There's actually it takes place on another planet, right? So in Robotech it's
Yeah.
Earth, but there's actually three suns in that, and you'll see them if you watch the original, and everything kind of out of sequence for Robotech. So I think that's part of it, where the narrator had to go above and beyond normal, whatever you want to call it, to make the story work. I could be
Yeah.
wrong, but yeah, no, I see. I know what you're saying. Sometimes, even the narrator's just like, okay, here's what's going on with this and this and ah,
Yeah, sometimes there was some episodes where it felt like, where they would go from scene to scene or what have you, and like he was just always saying something,
yeah,
and it would always be like a long bit of dialogue that is just trying to like make everybody know what's going on,
yeah,
because
yeah.
the way they cut it up and such, yeah, I mean, it was kind of confusing at times. I mean, I felt confused watching that series, you
Oh
know.
yeah, there are definitely a few plot holes as well. We are like, well,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
if this and he's but hey,
Well, like you said, it was Super Dimension Cavalry Southern Cross was the Japanese show that
mm,
was taken to be part of to be the Masters saga of Robotech, and like you said, it's takes place on another planet. It's something totally different. If I remember correctly, I think it was like humanity colonized this planet, and then the Masters are like a race of people that lived there, and then they were like, out exploring or what have you, and then they came back, and now they want the planet back. That's from
yeah, it's
what
it's
I
a
understand.
cool story. The Zor is what they're called, right?
Yes, yes.
And Dave, did you know that Robotech was actually made up of three unrelated anime? I uh, I just found that out on Facebook, on Instagram, and TikTok. It's crazy. I just my
Are you
yeah.
sure? Because I think a lot of people on there are trying to tell you it's just macros.
Yeah, that too, right? I mean, Macross, right? It's not. So, but I yeah, I just learned something new every day. I just learned today that a Veritech is it's not. Veritex don't exist. It's a Valkyrie. So,
Valkyrie. That's right.
man, just keep
Oh,
learning stuff as I go.
it's a little bit of RDS out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a serious condition, man. Don't even talk about protoculture being a fuel source. Woo!
Oh man. Well, in the Masters, I mean, it's really they kind of go into it as not only a fuel source, but also it seemed like something that the people like a fuel source for the people. They're like their clones and such. You know, I remember a
Yes.
couple of times where they were saying they're running low on the protoculture, and that was something that was like keeping the clones going and such.
Yeah, yeah. I really like that. That I'm gonna try not to stutter too much because I am amped up on caffeine and I'm talking about Robotech, so that just gets I want to talk about a thousand things at once. But going to the Master Saga, I love it, right? I love that when they just show the little fuel, the supposed protoculture, wherever it's being created or mixed, or I don't even know how to describe it, right? The chemicals, and when they go to the Masters and they just it has that eerie sound to it, and they show that stuff and they're talking all fancy, and I really really like that. I've always liked that about the Masters. They have this certain aura to them, and it's just that's cool to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the what was interesting too I saw was that the Masters Saga is 24 episodes, but
Hmm.
then the Southern Cross show was only 23, and that the Dana story episode was just pieced together and thrown in. I
Yeah.
guess I'm assuming they used that. They had to use that as a, or they were thinking that they needed to use that as a way of introducing Dana and
Hmm.
who she is, and then a little bit of a, and then yeah, I guess they use it as like a bit of a recap of what happened previously, because I know it starts out with Leonard giving his speech at the graduation and talking about sacrifices, and some there was some scenes and such too from the Macross saga and stuff. So they really tried to set everything up with that, you know, that clip episode.
Oh yeah, and I think it was well done. Right, you get the
Yeah.
backstory. Right, she's talking to Bowie about her parents, how they met, and everything, and of course you get one of the better parts of the Macross saga. Right, that little part leading up to the date at the park.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Their
yeah, then
first
they're
meet.
called into duty. Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. I actually like Dana. Bowie, not so much, man. I mean, I tolerate Bowie, but I do like Dana as a character. I've heard a lot of people say she's very annoying, and she can be at times, right? But I mean, that's the character. I feel like Dana's a pretty solid leader. The troops rally behind her, and she's pretty fearless herself. Marie Crystal, another level there.
So I mean, I'll say with regards to that, I'll say Dana. See, the thing that was weird about her with the way that they had her in the show, the way they portrayed her at least, was in combat. She was
Hmm.
great, except for like there was one episode I know she got like freaked out and she uh like paused and like froze up and such.
Yeah.
Other than that one little slip up, she was pretty good when it came to the combat stuff.
Oh yeah.
But there was so much of the downtime in the show that
Yeah.
was like the annoying Dana to me. Like, she was
True.
crazy annoying when it was the downtime, and it was more soapy. It was soap
Yeah.
opera type stuff.
Oh yeah.
That's what that's one of the things about the Master Saga for me is like I feel like I know we were talking about the whole series as a whole was kind of like this sci-fi action soap opera,
Hmm.
but I feel like the Master Saga was more soap opera than like anything. It was really soapy in my opinion.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. And the one thing that the Master Saga didn't have that Macross Saga and New Generation had was that idol, that singer, right? That music that just
Yes,
captured
that's
you,
right.
right? We had
Hmm.
Minmay. And in this one we have Bowie playing piano. We have music, right? But come on, right? It's not the same. And then, of course, in the new generation, you have Yellow Dancer, and you get those Michael Bradley songs that are amazing, in my opinion. So I think that's another one of the things that kind of didn't help. You heard like the instrumental songs playing most of the time. I think there is one where Bowie's playing a record or something like that, and does play a Min May song, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, it did. I mean, it really dove into the story, the characters, the drama between them. Angelo, and it's just there's a whole lot that goes on there, and it just yeah.
You know, one of the problems, I think one of the problems too for this second part
Mhm.
was that it followed the Macross saga. So the Macross saga set the bar so high. It was like, how you gonna even come close to that? You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. That's an excellent point. Especially, I mean, even back then, but even more so now. Again, that I can actually look and understand the stories in their entirety and everything, and the characters. Macross Saga is just amazing. It really is. The characters, the
Yeah,
story, the love triangle, the Zentradi forces, those characters, and then of course then you're thrown into this, and especially the way it ends, right? So if you're watching it, you're like, to the stars, all right, let's go. We're gonna go, and then all of a sudden you're Dana Story, and you have the Robotech Masters coming to. I mean, what's cool though is toward the end of the, I forget which episode it is. It's one of the last few episodes of the Macross saga. They do pan over to the Masters and talk about protoculture detection and whatnot. I wish I could remember the exact details, but there is a cool scene where they kind of give us a little glimpse of what's to come, which is
mhm,
nice.
yeah, yeah. It's I think one of the things with it too is just that a lot of the characters too, like with Macross, I felt like a lot of them uh, kind of evolved from the beginning to the end.
Hmm.
Whereas with this one, I feel like a lot of them really didn't really go anywhere. I mean, I get it that I get it. I mean, Macross Saga was like a couple of years long, and then this one, I think, if I remember correctly, it only spans about 1 year of
Yeah.
time. You know, and I get it that they're young. You know, a lot of them, well, most of them are all just young characters and such. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I just felt like it would have been nicer if there was a little bit more maturity to them
Oh yeah.
and a little bit more evolution with them.
Yeah.
But also I think the problem being too is that they went with a an unfinished show. You know, like Southern Cross got canceled at 23
Hmm.
episodes, so the
Hmm.
show never really had a ending. You know, it
Yeah.
never finished. So it's definitely a tough thing to try and shoehorn this in there. You know, an unfinished thing, and then you know recalibrate it for lack of a better word, to fit the Macross saga story that they had set up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's one of the things I really give Carl Masek a lot of credit for. I mean, I admire him for what he was able to accomplish with everything, right? But more so with Robotech because, again, not to mention the what I just learned recently about the three separate anime, but this one in itself, right? It was unfinished, and I mean, way out of sequence, cut up, and the dialogue, the characters, and he made it work. And the very end, right? It was perfect. The setup, the flower of life, the
Yeah,
Individ had detected it, and now they're on their way. That was cool, man. I got to give him credit. The creativity, the mind of that man was just amazing, eh, and I do love those last few episodes of the Master Saga, the one where
yeah,
he finally kills the Masters and he blows it up over there. I mean, those, and just the battle scenes alone, where the tide turns and humanity's getting the crap beat out of them, and then Zor ends up killing everybody and literally killing everybody. So,
yeah. It got better by the end. It really
yeah,
it did. 100% with you on that one. Those last couple episodes, it definitely got better. The flower, seeds spreading all over the place, and it was a perfect setup for the next part.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That was a pretty good ending
Oh
for it.
yeah.
I had to give it that.
Yeah, the scene where Dana hallucinates and she sees her future sister or current sister, whatever, the other daughter of Max and Myria. That was
Maya. Yeah.
creepy, but it was a cool scene. The way it was done, and like only Mason could have done that at that time, right? It's just I love it. I love that part where she's hallucinating. The whole Zor Prime backstory was cool. The way they made that work, and of course, like I said, the action scenes when we get them, they're really cool. And one of the things I really love are the bioroids on the hovercrafts.
Yeah,
Those are some of my favorites. Of course, the hover tank is amazing. The Ajax, right? And the badass Marie Crystal. And again, flawed characters, right? As cool as she is, she did take her lumps here and there. Zor got the better of her, and Dana came and saved her. And yeah, it's well written story.
yeah. Well, they did good enough for what they had to work with. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I mean, with what they had to work with, and trying to again take another series that has nothing to do with what was already shown and really make it a part of the overall story was it was a decent job with that, but again, I just feel like there was just too much downtime in it and just too much whining and things like that with the characters and such, like even with Bowie,
Oh,
he was in there. And yeah, I think like at one point, if I remember correctly, he says something about like he was there but reluctantly there. Like almost like it wasn't his choice to be in the military, but it's like,
yeah,
but they never went into the idea of like what that was about. Like, I mean, did he feel like obligated, and that's why he's there, or like did somebody say like, oh, you're going in the military, like, or was there like a draft or something? They
yeah,
kind of leave that out, and it's like, I get it, he's pacifist, but like, I need a little, I would have liked to have a little bit more as to like why he's saying that like he's shouldn't be there, or that like he was forced there.
yeah, yeah. That would have been nice to include backstory. I think that would have probably required more episodes to cut that up and
Yeah,
make it work.
that's the
But
problem. Yeah, that's the problem with having just a limited amount of
yeah, only
episodes
so
to work
much.
with.
Yep, yep. But and talking about Bowie, I always there's one of the episodes. It's one of my favorite scenes where he's actually Nova, who is my favorite character from that series. She's taking him into the jail, the brig, and he says something. She goes, "Ah, shut your mouth."
Yeah, yes, that's right. Yeah, because he got
Love
caught
that.
again being out in the I don't know, forbidden zone or something like that. He was
Yeah,
in something
yeah,
like that.
yep. Yep.
But
It's
so I was going to ask you. So you already said it. So Nova is your Nova Satori, right? Is your
oh, I
favorite
love
one?
Nova. I love Nova so much. That's she's my favorite character in there. I mean, I'm more partial to the women in that series, right? I love Nova. I like Marie Crystal, Dana Sterling. I actually do like Zor Prime. So I know the boo birds and the tomatoes are going to come flying here when I mention the word Zor, especially to that mystery man. He loves Zor Prime. So it's. But yeah,
um,
easy hands down. I love Nova, the character. I just found somebody that actually made a nice poster of her. So at some point, I'm going to be buying that, and we'll see it up here eventually. Yeah. What about you, man? What about your favorite
yeah.
characters on this series?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I liked Angelo.
Hmm.
I thought he was pretty cool, and Marie and Nova. I mean, those are really my three. Those are my top three, really.
Yeah,
And you know what? I'm gonna throw in a fourth one. I liked Emerson. I liked Emerson.
I,
You
I
know,
did like him too. Yeah,
I
Rolf Emerson was a good
he
man.
tried. He tried to do the right thing. He tried to be like a Global.
Yeah,
Global almost. Um, but his rank just because Leonard was above him, he just couldn't do the right thing. Do things get things done the right way. I should say.
yeah,
He was always trying. And even with when like when the Zor Prime got caught, he tried to like hide it for a while, so that
yep,
he didn't get executed, so Zor didn't
yeah,
get executed by Leonard.
yep,
So he was always trying and all, and then of course I was pretty upset when he died, when they sacrificed him, but I
yeah.
mean
That
at
and
least it
but
wasn't for
again,
naught.
that's Robotech, right? That's how we roll, right? It's You get a certain characters. Not everybody dies, right? But you get certain
Yeah,
characters, and they're here, and all of a sudden they're gone. And that happened in the Macross Saga, happened in there, and then of course with we'll get into the new generation when we get in there. But yeah, that was one of my. I actually liked him. His heart was in it as well, right? He knew he had a job to do, but he also his heart was in it. Whereas the other guy was just uh,
yeah,
Leonard
he
is
was just
something
off the
else.
wall, crazy.
And it's
But I
his
wi-
little crony Komodo, man, the guy who started the damn war. You know?
but I just wish that there was a little bit more even with that backstory on him and why he was so such like a pretty much like an antagonist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, I recently got some comics
Mhm.
and I had flipped through this one because the cover was interesting, and I know the comics are not canon anymore, but I mean it did I think offer kind of an explanation for
Yeah.
why he might be so crazy because like it showed basically that it was during the Malcontent uprisings
Oh yeah,
that
Malcolm.
his son was killed in it,
Ah.
and I think that's probably what maybe that's what sets him off on the deep end and why he's so adamant about hating aliens
Yeah.
in this part, in the Master's part.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I haven't read the comics, but I did have somebody tell me about the books. There's a specific book that dives deep into Leonard and why he is the way he is. So I'm anxious to get to that book at some point. Just a matter of finding time to read these things. I remember having the Before the Invid Storm book,
Mhm.
and I was probably 18, 19 years old on a trip to California, and I was like, I'm gonna read the thing on the whole. It was a Greyhound bus trip, and it was just so boring that story. And I was like, yeah, it's fitting. The freaking Masters are so boring, back then. Of course, now I want to dive into it because I'm a little bit more advanced, evolved my brain, and so maybe I'm able to adjust and enjoy it more this time.
Better understand it, right?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, but we'll see.
As far as the mecha go, I mean, like you said, the hover tank was pretty cool, and the Ajax, those are my favorite too. I mean,
Yeah.
the Bioroid was cool, that was pretty
Mhm.
nice. I mean, there was not enough of the Ajax. I don't know why they, you know, I mean, the original guys that made the show, I don't know why they didn't have it in there as much. It was only felt like only a couple of scenes really that was in, but it was a pretty badass design in my opinion.
It was the episodes where they show it where Marie's flying and it transforms. It's just so cool. I posted one not too
Uh,
long ago on Instagram that has it, and it's just I had to make it the thumbnail right when it's in the mode where all of the blades are sticking out and just looks so cool. But I think overall the designs were pretty nice. Even the armor, right? The
yes,
Southern
yes,
Cross Army, their armor would have been cool to get more of the ground hand to hand combat to see that more. Didn't get a whole lot of that in there, but again, maybe that was in the plans for season two that we'll never know about. Who knows?
true.
Follow us on Instagram and you'll see plenty of
but
pictures and video clips of that.
here's but here's the Bioroid one though. There's the
Oh yeah,
Bioroids. So
yep.
that's a
There's
nice
Zor.
picture of that one.
And what's funny is which ones are gonna die, right? It's the blue ones. They're the quote unquote red shirts of Master Saga, kind of like the
Yeah,
brown
exactly.
the brown Veritex in the Macross Saga, right? You know those guys are gonna get blown up. And but
Right.
yeah, the Bioware are freaking awesome. I love it.
And hang on one second. Yeah, let me show. I do have now. I have some clips. Let me show you. I'll show you the Ajax clip. I have that clip of the Ajax transforming.
Nice, yes.
Um, but there is no sound to this one, just because with the Macross Saga video we did, we had a little copyright issues. So I think it was because of the sound, but that's why I took the sound out. So we'll just see. Maybe.
Experimenting, right? And see
Yeah,
what
exactly.
works, what sticks, and what doesn't.
So let's pop this. Hopefully,
I love the missile trails. Ah, look at that armor.
look at that.
Yep.
Really, that design. That's freaking. That's cool.
Yeah, this is the one that I posted. Yeah, that right there, that shot. I love that shot. That's actually my thumbnail on the video.
Yeah, it's freaking cool, right? With the
Oh
blades
yeah.
in the back and everything.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, it looks like some kind of divine robot, right? Something that could have its own series. Dairuger.
And then did I have now this one? This one's. Let me show you I'll show the hover tank one.
Ooh, all right.
Um, I made a clip of the hover tank transforming. I thought the animation with the hover tank transforming was pretty damn cool.
I
With
agree.
the way you actually see, the pilot moving.
Yeah,
And
I always liked that. That was my impersonation of the pilot moving.
this is the first time we get to see them in action.
That right
But
there,
yeah,
that's
that, that,
cool.
that little motion, yeah.
Yeah. The background moving. Boom. Oh yeah.
Overall, I mean, it's pretty cool design overall.
I agree. I love the hover tank. And I know there's somebody that prints them. Does the I think it was a failed Kickstarter or something from I'm just going off of what I kind of remember.
Mhm.
And the design was still moved along, and so there's actually somebody that prints them, and then come to find out the guy who owned MEP Toys is partnering with this guy. So MEP Toys is coming back, everybody. If you're not familiar with them,
Oh,
look them up on Facebook. They got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. So it's really
yeah,
cool.
real,
Yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah. So
Oh
you might be able
shit.
to get your the little mushroom ordeal for the Masters at some point, right? That was
Yeah.
maybe
Oh
he'll
man.
would be willing to print one of those. But yeah, he's coming back. So if you follow him on Facebook, check him out. I saw it was at Chiron's Revenge on Instagram. Shared a story the other day in the link. As I went there, I was like, "Oh, he's coming back! This is awesome!" And you see a lot of Southern
Oh,
Cross stuff in there. The
okay.
Logans. I think he's going to partner with that guy who does the 3D printing of that stuff. So that's something to look forward to.
All right, that's awesome. Yeah, sure. I mean, I bought the Invid Scout Trooper figures, and then the Hellcats, and I mean
Yes.
they're freaking amazing.
Yeah.
So that would be great if this guy comes back and he's doing more figures and stuff. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check out the story on Chiron's Revenge's page. Um, yeah, so those were pretty cool. Let me see what else. And then the action. I mean, we talked about the action, with the action being you know pretty interesting. I got a clip show or actually right after that transformation with Dana fighting the uh, Dana fighting the Zor, the Bioroid.
Oh, that's a good scene.
Yeah, so let's see. Hopefully it works well.
The triple take there. I like it. They do a few of those triple
Yeah,
maneuvers. There's the gun fake.
you do a lot of these where it's like, shh, the background is all blurred out and stuff.
Yep, I love it. This part right here.
But yeah, I mean Zor is he's pretty badass in there. I
Oh yeah.
mean, yeah, just running right at her and all. Right? He's like, I lost my gun up.
Yep.
I
Got
told
shot.
you.
Fearless.
You wasn't expecting that, right? He's
No.
just jump right in there.
Yeah. No, that's a great scene, and there's quite a few. But that fight right there, where they're kind of using the environment, the hills, and everything to take cover, and man, that's one of my favorite battle scenes in that series is when she finally gets to duke it out with him, and I think that's after he had just got done waxing the floor with Marie and the Logan, right?
Yeah, yep, that's right. He took her down, and then yeah, he was about to shoot her, I guess, and then Dana and all them showed up. The 15th showed up
I love that
to save
scene.
her.
Yep.
Yeah,
She's
and that
just
was and it was cool because it was early. It was early on in the show, so I mean, it was that was one of the highlights of. I think that was the first episode. I think that was Dana's story that was in.
Could be, could be. I'll
If I'm
have
not
to. I need to go
mistaken.
back and watch it. So I'm right now in my rewatch. I'm in the Macross Saga. right now still. So I haven't had a lot of time to finish him. I know people be like, "Oh my God, you're a Robotech guy and you don't know?" Yeah,
I know. I'll take some heat too, since I did rewatch it recently and I forgot which episode that was from. But yeah, no, it's I'm 99.9% sure that's the first episode there.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, again, with with some of the story stuff, I mean, we talked about it. There was some things that just like, again, like I said, I was confused watching this series, and some of the things that were confusing to me was like, there's a part later on where the masters are like, oh, why, we just want they're just talking to each other and they're like, oh, we just want the protoculture matrix, we don't,
yeah.
we didn't, we're not intending to kill everybody. Like, why are they fighting us, and it's like, well, I mean, in that first episode, they just kind of show up and then send one of their ships out towards some of the ships that the humans had out in space, and they don't like try to communicate anything. Like, they don't know what you want. They assume they're just going to assume something bad because of what happened with the Zentradi. So
Andrade.
it's like you might want to try and like tell them like, hey, we just want the matrix, that you're not using because you left it buried in the wreckage there. We just want that and we'll leave.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we want. But it's like they didn't do that, and then it's like later on in the show they're like complaining that like, oh, the humans are fighting us, and now we got to kill them. We got to destroy them all or whatever.
Oh,
It went from like we just want that the Matrix to you have. I think it was like towards the end of the series they were like, oh, they told Leonard you had like 48 hours to evacuate the whole planet.
yeah.
Like,
Yep,
like
you pissed them off, man. That was they just wanted fuel. They were like, hey, we just need to refuel. We're just gonna stop, park for a little bit of fuel. We'll be on our way. Then that damn Komodo, man, I'm telling you, the guy that he's get out of here, or else it's another. He started to even reference, I think, the Zentradi or something like that. And so he was probably part of that. In the first war, and he just having those little flashbacks, PTSD, and just launched those damn missiles. Which not a single one. I mean, I think they did break through, right? And they just didn't do anything. Like just maybe a
yeah, I mean,
scratch.
yeah, exactly, yeah, it's nothing.
That's the crazy part, right? Is like your first. I don't know how many episodes, and I always mention it in my descriptions of these Southern Cross. Like another scene where the Earth forces get slaughtered. I mean, they just send them to their death. And I told Leonard, like, yeah, send them in. But sir, they're all white. Send them in. Keep on, keep fighting. It's like, dude, they're literally wiping out the main ships.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't do crap, right? And then there's finally an episode where the 15th Squadron, it's one of the ones that's parked on Earth. They finally managed to break through, and of course, right, Dana and her crew. But yeah, man, they just get destroyed no matter what. They send them the sylphides to get just nuked, and then yeah, it's crazy. It's really one sided for a lot of the series early on. You just don't have a lot of hope.
Yeah, for most of it, I mean, really, it's most of it. Even when the what is it, the ship from the expeditionary force finally arrives. I
Mhm.
mean, they get wiped out real quick. I
That's
mean,
true.
they attacked with the and again you can see you know like Robotech 2 might not have been on their minds, I guess, at this point, or well, actually, well, you can see how different it is because the fighters that they use to attack are just like these planes, like it's nothing
Yeah,
we've even seen before.
yeah.
You think that it would be like the Alpha fighters from the new gen and Robotech 2, but it was like that's another thing that was kind of weird, because it's like I think wouldn't they have like a fleet of Alphas, to send out there instead of these regular
Something.
planes, but
Yeah, there's quite a bit that you can question about that, and the non transforming Veritex, the Sylphides, right? Just freaking enemy cannon fodder, really. But yeah, there's a lot that we can question in there, and again, why we need a reboot, right, or a movie or a live action series. Looking at you, Amazon. Well, I don't know if I look at Amazon. Trying to think who would do it justice. Maybe yeah, maybe Prime or yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm scared, right? No matter who, just don't Disney. No, no Disney. That's
yeah, yeah.
Please.
You know, one other thing I know we had mentioned about Dana seeing her sister and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Again, there was another little screw up that they had, a little plot hole that they put in there. I think
Mm.
because as far as I'm aware, she didn't have a brother. But there was a scene in there. It was a scene where she said that she had a brother.
Oh. Hmm.
Yeah, like
Okay.
that was kind of that was kind of weird, you know.
I
I
need
mean,
it now. I'm motivated to go watch it. I think I'm going to skip the Macross saga and just jump into the Southern Cross so I can. I want to catch that. I want to see that. I'm curious now. Thank you.
yeah, she was. I can't remember if it was Bowie she was talking to or if it was Zor Prime. It
Yeah.
was one of those two she was talking to, and she had said that she moved away. She moved away from her family, and she mentions that she moved away from her brother. To be in the military.
Okay.
So that was interesting. I mean, I'm just nitpicking here a little bit, so
No, that's
nothing
fine. I mean,
major.
yeah, I mean, if I'm Max and I got a wife like Miri, I mean, raise a big family. Let's go. Get all these fighter pilots out there with good genetics. Let's go. Let's get a whole squadron going. Right.
But yeah, it was definitely out of the three series. It definitely ends on like the again. It was a decent ending,
Yeah.
you know, but it's definitely the gloomiest of all three. Whereas at least Macross had it was messed up what happened at the end there, but there was hope. There was
Right.
hope at the end. The new gen, there was victory and hope that there was going to be they were going to be able to rebuild the Earth and everything, and the expedition find the SDF-3, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, but then with this one, it was just kind of like, nah, it's like it just ends and it's like, yeah, we're screwed.
It's
They're
beautiful.
screwed.
I love it because I love the Empire Strikes Back going to Star Wars, and I'm not comparing. I'm not saying Robotech is on that level by any means, but you think about the Empire Strikes Back, it's kind of like it's like where do we go? Right at the end of it, you're like, holy crap! Luke just got his butt kicked, and everything's kind of just not as gloomy, but I like that for the middle part to end on a very gloomy note, right? Like nobody won, and then
Yeah,
everybody, the planet's like left in ruins from this another great war, and then here comes this unknown alien race on that's already on its way. And they probably didn't know that, right? But of course, the narrator lets us know that as they await the coming of the Invid, and that's like holy crap, like. And then they start the new generation with that invasion scene, and you're just like, ugh, so much for the planet. But yeah, thanks a
yeah,
lot, Zor. He had good intentions. He had good intentions. I'll always say that his mind was in the right place, right? He wanted
yeah.
revenge, he must pay, and he wanted to destroy it. But yeah, just a little miscalculation there, buddy.
He picked the wrong spot to destroy the planet. Well, I mean, not the planet. Wow, destroy the planet, destroy the ship.
Yeah, yeah,
And bad idea to try and destroy the matrix and everything, since it was it mutated. The protoculture matrix had mutated into the flower of life. So you know to do that, once he blew it up, it spread all the seeds all over the place and everything. So
yeah. Just
definitely,
burn it, right? Just take a torch, gasoline, torch it.
definitely a bad idea. But
Yeah. Well,
I've
you
always
know
wondered
what?
what happened with the Bioroid fighters and everything. Like
The
uh, you
protoculture
know.
fuel, fuel.
Yeah. Did they all just die
Yeah,
off before the Invid showed up, or did it?
yeah,
That's the one thing too, that like the ending leaves a lot of questions. Because
yeah,
especially with the new gen being Mospita, and not having any footage that they could put in there to show like, oh, Dana and her crew, they got out of there. They got
yeah,
it on a ship and bolted. Or the other Bioroid fighters that were there, fought with the Southern Cross against the Invid. That would have been really cool to see. Like, maybe somebody with like AI skills or whatever can do an episode, like a bridge between
yes,
the two. Just
yeah,
do a bridge and show like, oh, the Bioroids and the Southern Cross guys, they stopped fighting because of what happened, and then they realized, oh, the Invid comes and they start fighting. They start fighting. Side by side and all. That would have been pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I'm gonna dive into that before the Invid Storm book and see if I can maybe get some answers in there. Because there might, everybody always refers to the books to get more in depth details on that, and it's a great way to close those gaps, right? To fill in those gaps that we're like, well, wait, what about this and what
Yeah.
about that? Well, read the book. So
Which
I'm
is why I don't
so
understand why they made it, not canon anymore. They took all that stuff out.
yeah.
And it's like just the shows and that's it. And it's like, but we need more though. We need more to it.
That's true, but if that's the case, maybe maybe there's something in the works, right? I know we talk about it being the 40th anniversary. We're all excited, right? We're like, it's the 40th anniversary, and there's one scene in my mind that hits me from Harmony Gold. It's the end of the first Willy Wonka movie when they're like, it's like, hey, you get nothing. Good day, sir. That's basically us. We're like, you're an inhumane monster. You get nothing.
It's true. It's true. And I mean, we could probably do an entire video just talking about that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
it's yeah, that's a little disappointing that they haven't really come out with anything. But
It is. It is. I mean, you would think, but I mean, who knows, right? Maybe there. I'm still holding out hope. We still got a lot of time in the year. I don't even know when San Diego Comic Con is. So I'm hoping whenever that is, maybe there's going to be a big announcement at the other than toys, right? Like, hey, we got a new Veritag fighter for you. It's
Valkyrie.
green.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
I
guess
mean,
I guess we'll see. I mean, and
last
you know what? There you go. There's your the
last
cyclone, right?
year, right? They announced this bad boy right here, and of course, I mean, I was drooling as soon as I saw it. I was like, okay, I'm pre-ordering that whenever I see it. And but again, I mean, this isn't going to build new fans, right?
Yeah.
The foundation of Robotech is the anime. So you can give all the comics, right? Like I know that they talked about the prelude to the Shadow Chronicles series, which is pretty good, and then we got this right here, which I really love and appreciate from Brandon Easton. But at the end of the day, anime is some type of visual series, right? The motion picture, live action series, animated series, a reboot. That's what's going to build new fans. We're getting up there. Like, I don't know how old you are. I'm not going to ask, but I know I'm getting up there. I'm feeling it in my joints, right? And there's people that are older than me that are big Robotech fans. And it's like, we want more, right? Macross is actually getting a new series, which is awesome. And
Yes, I saw.
I'm excited about that crazy thought, right? I'm not supposed to be, according to the crazies, but I'm actually excited about that. But we need something. I mean, we don't need it, right? We have what we have. It's probably going to be it for the rest of,
Rest of our
realistically
days.
speaking, based on history, right? This is what we have. Is what we have. But I'm still holding out hope that maybe Harmony Gold will sell Robotech the rights to Robotech for a good dollar amount, right? Make your money and sell it to somebody who's gonna do something with it because there's a ton of potential for it. My
I got an
opinion.
idea. We can start a Kickstarter. We'll start a Kickstarter to raise funds to buy it, and then we'll do
Yes,
something with it. You know.
yes. Let's broadcast this all over the world. Dave and I will we'll start our own, corporation here, and we will put together a Kickstarter. We just somehow got to get a hold of the Agramas and figure out what their price is. Right? Everybody's got a price. Is the $1 million man.
That's right. Yes,
And
yes. That's right.
we'll work out a deal and let's go, guys. We'll start that soon. Post it, Kickstarter, support us, and we'll make an offer that the Agramas can't refuse. And we promise to work with only the best, right? Hire the best directors, the best cast, everything, and let's go. Let's make this happen. Who's
All
with
right.
me?
All right. Cricket. Cricket.
Worth a try. Right? Uh,
Oh man.
one of my favorite scenes involving Nova is when Komodo, has this little secret admirer scene, and Data's got the plan, right? And he comes up, and she's like, "All right, Zor," knocks him out, and he, he runs away crying. She's like, "What's happening?" just little stuff like that. The Marie Crystal, where she, is waiting for what's his name and ends up slapping him too. There's little scenes in there that are really good, and when they end up on the Tyrolean ship, right, and they're drinking and just hanging out with the community of the Robotech masters, their clones and everything. Just there's some cool stuff in there, so it's definitely worth watching. Everybody, if you're new to Robotech, you're gonna love the Macross Saga, right? You might not love the Master Saga, but there's a lot of good stuff in there, and the
Yeah.
mechs, the fighting scenes, the ton of characters, ton of side stories. Again, as Dave spoke, it can get annoying and it drags out at times, but then it finishes strong and leaves you on a cliffhanger, looking forward to the next war.
Yeah, I definitely, honestly, after watching that, I got to watch the original Japanese Southern Cross, like with accurate subtitles. Like
Oh yeah.
I'm very interested to see to actually watch it. Uncut and in the way that it was originally broadcast and such. With the proper subtitles, so I can understand what's going on.
It's hard to find. There are some YouTube channels that have it, but like the one that I found is like the actual scene, like the screen for the actual animation series is very small, and they have like a graphic outlining it. So yeah, it's tough. And then of course you can find it right on probably DVDs somewhere on eBay. The one thing I want to do, and this is a project of mine, I want to get a hold of, eventually get all of the,
Perfect
what is it? The,
collection.
the perfect collection. Yes,
Yeah, I was just
right.
thinking that. I was just thinking that.
Yeah, get a hold of all the perfect collection. Figure out a way to get that recorded, right, or not recorded, but put it transfer it from a
Yeah,
VHS tape to some type of digital whatever, because that's going to be very accurate, right? And that's what Carl Masick and Streamline Pictures wanted to give to us, right? I think you probably saw it when I posted it about how everybody, they don't even know why they don't like Carl Masick, just because somebody on Instagram or somewhere else told them not to, right? So everybody's like, well, we don't like Carl Masick because he's like, no, no, Carl Masick. He loved anime. He wanted everybody to see, obviously Robotech. He made Robotech, but he also wanted to, and he brought it, right? He brought the
yeah,
originals in their original form to the United States in 1992. So for all you people that weren't even alive then, that think you hate him for whatever reason, you're wrong. You're wrong, because when he co-founded Streamline Pictures, he brought that perfect collection, and they distributed that. They partnered, everybody, and distributed that, and it's great, right? You get 2 episodes of Robotech, and then you get the corresponding, somewhat right episodes. The first like if you get the first 2 episodes of Robotech, you get the first 2 episodes of Southern Cross, and then
yeah,
you'll start to see once it goes. It's kind of like, okay, Robotech goes here, and this one goes here and there, and but you get the originals, which is the beautiful thing about the perfect collection.
yeah. Definitely, I got to look into that too. Getting
Yeah.
some more of those. I think I only have like two of them, to be honest. So
Yeah.
I got to get some more.
Well, I'll
But
the last time I was at the Robo Toy Fest was about 2 years ago, and there was the voice actor who plays Zor. I think he was selling them, or maybe whoever was sitting next to him had just a table just stacked. They must have had multiple
wow.
copies of every episode. And he's like, I got these for sale. Don't forget these. I was like, oh, I wish I could, man. And at the time, I only had so much money, and I spent it on a couple of figures, but I spent it on the autographs and the selfies with Tony Oliver and Rebecca and Dan Warren and those guys. So it was cool. But I think I do want to go back this year. It's June 8th, and I'm going to bring a little bit extra money and maybe some extra space to get those, bring them back with me, because they were sealed. They were brand new.
Oh wow, really? Even sealed? They weren't even used, huh?
Yeah, no, they were brand new. At least I mean, they appeared just perfect in mint condition. So I don't know if they had them
Wow.
in a warehouse or somewhere, but they were there, and they looked very nice, very tempting. So I'm sure there's a way, right, to hook up a VCR, get a nice VCR, and someone
Oh
hook it
yeah,
up where you can transfer it digitally. But that's maybe a future project for the Robotech guy.
that's right. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up here for the
Yeah.
Masters Saga.
All right.
Yeah, thanks again for joining me,
Oh,
and of
yeah.
course, everybody that's watching, thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. Have links, of course, as always, to Robotech Guy's YouTube channel, Undisputed Combo, and of course his Instagram. So, you Robotech fans, you gotta jump on his Instagram. Always
I,
posting some awesome stuff.
Thank you, thank you. I gotta say, man, thank you. A lot of your the individuals who follow and subscribe to your channel have come over to my channel, and my channel's kind of like I haven't done a whole lot, but they're like, hey, we're here from Dave, just your average geek. So I'm like, oh, that's awesome, thank you. So all of you, thank you, I appreciate it. Right, I'm all over the place when it comes to content on the YouTube channel, but on Instagram it's Robotech Guy and Macross and that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, thanks again, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate all the the networking and everybody that's watching. Thank you. Hopefully we're entertaining enough, and that's what we want, right? We don't want to be negative and poo poo on everything, and want to be like a little positive, right, where you can escape and appreciate the nostalgia. So hopefully that's what we're accomplishing.
And I'll apologize here. I know I was a little bit negative in this video for the Masters. I might have been a little harsh at times, but you know, just saying how I feel. That's all.
And honesty's the best way, right? And I said the same thing. There's a couple things where I was like, Masters. I'm a Robotech guy, but I'm not gonna kid myself. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, it's great, everything's great, I love it. It's like, no, it has its flaws, right?
Nothing's
Annie,
perfect, right?
Annie's wedding, give me a freaking break, Shit.
Well, we'll
Anyhow,
be
but
we'll be getting to that one. We'll be getting to that one.
looking forward to that one. Looking forward to that one. But thanks again, man. I appreciate you doing this. Appreciate
But
being a part of it.
yeah, no, thanks for being a part of it. And again, everybody that's watching, thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode as we continue on our 40th anniversary celebration of Robotech. Catch you
Yes.
later.
I'm just